Department of Justice, more than 50 people who live in Ohio were arrested in connection to the insurrection on January 6th. Now, that's the fifth most arrests connected to that fiasco of any state. Ohio is only behind Florida, Texas, Pennsylvania, and New York. And with the release of the January 6th report, we wanted to take a closer look at the role Ohio played on that day and throughout the investigation. News 5's Clay Lepard has more.
The day started early for many, leaving this Garfield Heights parking lot for Washington, D.C., and what would turn out to be one of the most consequential days in U.S. history. Thousands attended President Trump's rally outside the White House.
And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
However, it's what happened next that prompted a congressional investigation. Throughout the past 2 years, federal agents tapped into photos, videos, and cell phone location records to help identify criminals from that day. Photos of Cleveland Metropolitan School District occupational therapist Christine Priola circulated quickly after the attack, showing the Willoughby woman standing inside the Senate chambers.
Christine, please friend me on Facebook.
I will.
Priola was sentenced in October to 15 months in prison. John Douglas Wright of Canton pled guilty on an obstruction charge after photos showed him pushing Capitol police officers and saying in Facebook messages, "We're going to have to fight the blue." Wright faces up to 20 years in prison. Cliff Mackerel of Wellington also faces charges for hitting an officer and grabbing his gas mask. Agents arrested Kimberly and Colton Wargo of Westlake after they say the mother and son spent a half hour walking with a mob inside the Capitol. Devin Steiner and Adam Miller of Worcester, seen here wearing a cowboy hat, initially did not acknowledge visiting the Capitol, despite recording their visit and texting storming the Capitol building with hundreds of thousands. Just 3 days later, agents say Steiner responded to a text asking to hang out by saying, "I'd love to, but I'm laying low for a while. Worried about the law coming after you? Both Steiner and Miller were formally arrested this past May, right around the same time agents arrested Justin Smith of Brunswick. Paperwork details how Smith bragged to fellow members of a political belief organization that he had entered the Capitol. At least one fellow member helped agents identify Smith, who was carrying a Trump flag that day. During those subsequent hearings, Ohioans also took center stage, from former Trump Deputy Press Secretary and Stark County native Sarah Matthews.
I thought that January 6, 2021 was one of the darkest days in our nation's history, and President Trump was treating it as a celebratory occasion with that tweet.
To protester Stephen Ayers of Warren.
The president got everybody riled up, told everybody to head on down. So we basically were just following what he said.
And just this past December 1st, federal agents arrested 3 people from Perry. University Hospital's employees Saul Yamas and Jordan Seamers, as well as Ryan Swoop, after video surfaced of Swoop spraying officers with what appears to be a chemical irritant. A lot of these arrests came from anonymous tips, and there could be more. There are still hundreds of unidentified people captured in photos and videos from January 6th. Clay Lepard, News 5.